What is going on, beautiful people of the world? My name is Garrett Wolf, and I am the host of the #1 podcast for people who are trying to go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs. I've built my body over the last 8 years, and in the last 3 years, I've helped hundreds of online clients shred unwanted fat and embody the best version of themselves. Now, let's jump right into today's show.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Alpha Movement Podcast. This is the #1 show for people who are trying to go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs, all without giving up the most enjoyable aspects of their life. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about in-person versus online training, because I was just having a conversation with my dad. He currently is working with an in-person personal trainer, not in the gym, or not in a commercial gym, but at his home gym, the personal trainer's home gym. So he's still kind of training at home, but he is training not at his home, at the personal trainer's home. So I'm going to get into the ins and outs of personal training, how an in-person training might differ from an online coach's approach, and all things having to do with online training, in-person coaching. Compare the two of them and see which one might actually be the better fit for someone like you. All right, guys, you already know the deal. If at any point during this episode you enjoy what I have to say, or you take some value from this podcast, please screenshot my face, share it to Instagram stories, tag me at _Garrett Wolf, and I will reshare it to my story and send you a free gift. Excuse me while I turn my mic up here because the sound is a little bit low. That's kind of weird. I've been having a mic issue recently. I've been having a mic issue where it's like a bunch of static in the background, which is weird because I just got this new mic. It's the Shure MV7. It should be like really, really good. It was like $300, so I kind of am a little bit crabbed. It was working for like 40 episodes, and then the last 8 episodes, it has this static in the background. So if anyone's watching the live or anyone's watching the pod replay, and they know why a microphone might be giving off a staticky kind of background noise for no reason, literally when no one's even talking or making any noise, there's a staticky kind of microfibrous sound in the background, and I can't seem to figure it out. I've been taking it out in a thing called Adobe Audition, and so that's been really helpful for me trying to get the podcast sounding normal again. So I can do that, but the subscription, I have to say subscribe to the Adobe like Creative Cloud, which is like, a big chunk of change every month. So there's no reason to do that if I can figure out how the mic actually works. In any case, though, guys, I was having a conversation with my dad this morning, and this is an ongoing conversation that we've been having over and over and over again about him and his in-person trainer. So here's the story with my dad and his in-person trainer. So he works underneath this in-person trainer, and he actually worked with him about 20 some years ago when he was only 20, like 25, 30 years old. He worked with this in-person trainer. And then they kind of parted ways because, him and my mom moved to Montana, and the trainer stayed wherever he was at. I forget where he was at. It was either Florida or Minnesota, something like that. Probably in Florida. He stayed there as my dad and my mom went to Montana to raise the kids, that being us. And so they lost connection. But then when we came to Massachusetts, he actually got a message from this trainer saying, yo, small world, I'm actually in Massachusetts also. Like, I live here now. I don't live in Florida anymore, or wherever it was that he lived. And so my dad actually started training with him again underneath him in person, trying to pursue some weight loss goals and some muscle gaining goals. That's basically my dad's all around goal, is just to gain some muscle, lose a little bit of fat. That's basically his goal. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what's the problem, right? Because he's been training with this guy now for almost a little over, I feel like it's a year. I feel like it's a little bit over a year that he's been training underneath this guy now. And I don't want to be mean to my dad or this trainer, but the unfortunate reality is he's made basically zero progress. He says he's made a little bit of progress with mobility, a little bit of progress, maybe in the muscle department, in the fat loss department, but a little bit of progress is not what you're going for over a year long of training, over a fucking 365-day period of training. I feel like I could personally transform somebody in an entire year of training. I could damn near transform anybody in a year of training. All it takes is like some actual dedication, some planned prescription, and actually figuring out what your goal needs to be. And so I asked him today. That's what sparked this conversation this morning, because we've been having conversations about it. Obviously, it's kind of ironic, right? His son is a personal trainer and he's working with the personal trainer in person and he's not really getting any results. And I've been hawking him, right? I've been hawking him like, yo, it's time to dump your trainer and come work underneath me, right? Because I can actually get you results. We can actually define a goal and we can actually move forward. And he's been saying, yeah, like I want to do that. I want to do that. I just don't want to hurt this in-person trainer's feelings, right? And so I was like, Dad, ultimately it's about you and your results. It's not about his feelings. It's not about the trainer's feelings. It's about you and are you getting results? And basically he's not. He's basically not getting results. And so, he's working on breaking up with him. That's what I like to say, because they're just pretty close. I think it's kind of funny. But he's working on breaking up with him and he's going to come train under me. And I got him underneath the Trainerize app today, and I'm really excited about that because finally, I got him taking progress pictures and weighing himself every day, and I'm going to write him up a little diet plan later today. Unfortunately, I can't write him a workout plan because he's still with this in-person trainer, so he's sporadically going to see him every so often. And that's something I want to talk about too. Let me take this jacket off, though, because it's hot in here. Boom. All right, much better. Jeez. Whew. That sweater is fucking spicy. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about like the sporadity. I don't know if that's a word, but how sporadic it is that he goes and sees this trainer. Because you see, one of the main problems is that he has to go to work, or at least he did. He's not working currently, but he had to go to work, and it would interfere with his in-person training all the time. So he would be going 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes he would go none, or sometimes he would just go 1 time a week, right? This obviously is not sustainable, and this obviously will not yield you results in the long term. You have to be consistent with what you're doing. You have to understand that results take time of consistent, persistent action. And if you're kind of doing this sporadicity, I don't think that's a word, this sporadic activity, I tried to connect the 2 words, then you're not going to make results. You have to do the same thing every single day, or you're simply not going to make results. And so it wasn't today, it wasn't this morning's conversation, but it was like a couple weeks ago. I asked him, like, what are you guys training for? Like, what's your goal right now? And he's like, he thought for a second, he sits to himself, he's like, he's never really asked me that, talking about the in-person trainer. He's like, the in-person trainer's never really asked me that before. Like, I don't really know what my goal is. And I was like flabbergasted. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, you've been training with this guy for a year and you don't even know what you're training for? And that stumped me. I was like, holy shit. And I started to connect the dots a little bit. I was like, when you train underneath an in-person trainer, not just this trainer that my dad trains with, but when you train underneath an in-person trainer, you actually don't even define a goal, really. You fill out like this little questionnaire thing. It's called a PAR-Q. You fill this thing out. You fill out a little readiness questionnaire thing, and then they basically just throw you on the field and they start training you. They don't go over your diet. They don't go over how many steps you're getting every day. You only see them again 1 to 3 times a week. Because if you were to train with an in-person trainer Monday through Sunday, it would cost you like $800 fucking dollars, because they charge like $100 an hour, right? Or the typical rate is $125 an hour. So I was just doing some quick math there. It would be like $700-800, right? If you were training them every single week. So that would come out to $3,200, something like $3,200 to $3,500 every single month if you wanted to see an in-person trainer every day. Mind you, you wouldn't even be able to, because they're going to take some off days as well, and I'm sure they're going to get sick of your ass and not want to see you every single day, right? So that's something that was just like really surprising to me, that they didn't even define a goal. But then I started remembering when I shadowed underneath some in-person trainers, when I was doing some in-person training myself, that you don't define a goal. You really don't define a goal. You're just training, and that's what it is. An in-person trainer, they teach you how to train. They teach you how to do the muscle, contraction properly. They teach you how to do the movements properly. And so I basically told him, I was like, Dad, if you don't define a goal, you're not going to get anywhere. I was like, you're going to keep running in circles. You're never going to get results. You're never going to move forward towards fat loss goals, towards muscle building goals, anything like that. And so he was like, yeah, I know, it's pretty stupid, right? Pretty fucking stupid. So he agrees with me. He completely agrees with me, and he knows. But again, he has a hard time breaking up with this guy because he's known him for like 25 some years. And so that brings me to this morning's conversation, where I was like, because he went to see the in-person trainer yesterday, right, to hit a little chest and back workout. And I asked him this morning, I was like, what does that look like for you guys? What kind of workout are you doing for chest and back? And this is what fucking threw me off the edge. He looks at me and he's like, so we do some like chest press, we do like 1 set, and then we go on to Airmaster bike. It's like a fan bike, and then we run the Airmaster bike for 2 minutes, and then we go back, we do another set of chest, we go back on the Airmaster bike, we do another set of fucking Airmaster, then we go back, we do another set of chest, then we go back on the Airmaster, then we're doing some cable flies, but not actually cable flies, resistance band flies is what he's doing. And then he was doing some resistance band pull aparts, and I was like, whoa, why are you going back and forth on the bike? Like, are you trying to train for endurance? No. Are you trying to train for a marathon? No. Are you trying to train for fat loss? Well, I don't know. We're kind of going for muscle gain and fat loss at the same time. And as an online trainer, I'm just face palming because I'm like, first of all, you're 52 years old or 53 years old. I actually don't know how old my dad is, which is crazy, but I know when his birthday is, all right? So lay off me. But if you're going back and forth, you don't even know what your goal is. You don't even know if you're trying to gain fucking muscle or lose fat. You don't even know what you're going for. And you're hopping on the elliptical, training like a fucking marathon runner for absolutely no reason. Then you're fucking just spinning your tires. And then I was like, all right, like that's stupid. Like, if you're not training for endurance, if you're not training for a marathon, and if you're not training for fat loss, or at least you don't know that you are because you're not checking your diet, you're not working on your diet, then you're fucking spinning your wheels. It's useless. I was like, what else are you doing? He's like, then he had me stepping up onto this stepping stool and doing lat raises at the top, right? So imagine this, stepping up on the stepping stool and doing a lat raise at the top, right? So it looks like this, if you guys can see the video. Stepping up, lat raise, stepping up, lat raise. And I was like, holy fuck, Dad, this trainer is absolutely jerking you the fuck off. He, like, first of all, you're using so much momentum in that you barely can even call it a lat raise. Second of all, you're doing chest and back and you're doing step ups into a lat raise. I was like, that is a leg driven movement. That's a quad driven movement. Not to mention you're using momentum to throw the weights up in the lat raise, and that is not useful for a chest and back workout. That is completely fucking worthless. And I was like, this trainer is jerking you off. He's trying to confuse you. And this is a tactic that in-person trainers use all the time because they want you to be confused so that you keep coming back, so that you keep paying them. You see, if you figure out how to work out all on your own, there's only so many muscles in the gym, right? There's only so many exercises you can do in the gym. And if you figure out how to do them on your own without this trainer, then the trainer becomes useless. Essentially, there's no use for the trainer any longer, and the trainer becomes null and void. He becomes pretty much useless. And so the trainer, these in-person trainers, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but I see it all the time at commercial gyms where people are doing the exercises incorrectly. Like, people are doing push-ups and they're spreading their arms out, they're letting their elbows flare, and the trainer just doesn't correct them. The trainer's just sitting there like fucking watching them, fucking jerking them off, doing absolutely nothing. And it's infuriating because you're trying to accomplish a goal, or at least you think you are when you're hiring a personal trainer, and they don't even help you accomplish that goal. They help you with nonsense. They help you keep paying them. They help you stay confused, and they try to justify it by like, oh, this is like muscle confusion. This will confuse the muscle. And they talk about all this bro science that means absolutely fucking nothing. And so when you compare this kind of programming to an online coach's business plan, so let's compare it to the Alpha Movement Academy. What happens in the Alpha Movement Academy? You hop on, you answer 3 questionnaires and a type form where I get to know everything about you. I get to know your current weight, your goal weight, and then your dream weight, which is like a 4-month and then a fucking 12-month. Like, what's your 4-month goal? Then what's your 12-month goal, right? So I know your current weight, your goal weight, and then your dream weight. Then you let me know everything like food allergies, like injuries, like how many times you work out per week, how many times do you want to work out per week. I get all this intel, right? And then what I do as an online coach is I write you a training plan. I write you a diet plan. I can give you meals, actual foods to eat with a grocery list that you go to the store and you can actually pick up all the fucking foods and shit that you see on your physical diet plan. So we're already ahead of the in-person trainers, right? Because all they do is they walk you through a workout. So check, I got that. I give you a workout plan. They don't give you a diet plan. I give you a diet plan. Then we take it a step further. Not only is it macros and calories, but we give you meals. We give you a meal plan, actual physical meals that you can go to the store and buy the ingredients for with a grocery list so that you can make it, and it adds up to your daily macro value. That is fucking invaluable, first of all. Then we track your steps. We track your water intake, right? Everything that has to do with weight loss, longevity, health, and fitness goals, we are tracking. We track your body weight every single day. We track your measurements of your arms, legs, neck, chest, back, Everything. We check the measurements. We make sure you're checking in every single day, Monday to Sunday, so that we know you're making we know you're making progress towards your goals every single day. Then we have a weekly check-in on Sundays. Every single week on Sunday, you fill out a weekly check-in form letting me know, are you making progress? Are you not making progress? How do you feel throughout the day? How's your energy? How's your confidence levels? How are you feeling about pursuing the goals in your actual life? It is not just a training plan. The Alpha Movement Academy is not just a training plan. It is a life coaching plan because it starts with your life. Training does not just have to do with picking up weights and putting them down, lifting heavy things, and then eating a bunch of protein. That has almost nothing to do with it. It really has to do with your mindset. It starts up here, it starts in the brain as an idea, and then the things you do in physical reality will dictate what happens to your body. Your body is a reflection of your headspace, not the other way around. So that's basically what I told him. I was like, this in-person trainer's jerking you off. He's wasting your time. You got to come train in the Alpha Movement Academy. So long story short, guys, we signed him up for the Alpha Movement Academy, and I'm excited as fuck to start making some progress with him because he's been trying this shit for so long, and it's just about time he actually started getting some fucking results instead of just being jerked around by these in-person trainers that charge him thousands of dollars a month, right? And let's just compare that. Let's compare that for a second. It costs him about $3,000 a month. It might even be more. I might be underestimating that to train with this in-person trainer. The Alpha Movement Academy is $400 a month. Right? But I do it for him for free, obviously, because he's my dad. I'm training him for free because I love training and I want to get him results. But $400 compared to $3,000, that is a fucking huge discrepancy. Not to mention, we go way more in depth in the Alpha Movement Academy into your lifestyle than an in-person trainer ever could. Right? So that's just what I was telling him. That's the spiel about online training versus in-person training. And that's why I quit being an in-person trainer and started online coaching, because not to mention, in-person trainers get paid peanuts out of the money that they make because they pay it to the gym. They pay like 80% of their salary to the gym as the hosting platform for them so that they can actually have a place to train people. And so in-person training is just a dying profession, man. It's all about online coaching now. I hire online coaches. My coach for my contest prep is an online coach. That's how much I stand by it. Because I never want to stop learning. So I hired an online coach who's doing, financially better than me and better than me in his online coaching business. He has around 320 some clients. So I would love to learn from him. I would love to learn what he knows about fitness. I would love to learn his, mechanisms, the things that he uses within his business. And so that's why, in-person training just really does not compare to online coaching. And that's the difference. That's the discrepancy between in-person and online coaching. So which one's going to be better for you at the end of the day? I think for every single person, I genuinely believe this from the bottom of my heart. I think for every single person, in-person training is a waste of time. Unless you're like an athlete for a sport and you have a designated personal trainer who is not just like a fucking someone who took the NASM CPT online. If you're like training for football, like the NFL or hockey or whatever, the NHL, fucking basketball, obviously those in-person trainers are useful, right? Because an online coach isn't going to know all the ins and outs of your sport. But if you're just a normal person, if you're just an average Joe trying to gain some fucking muscle, lose little bit of fat, gain some confidence and fix your mindset, then in-person training, I believe, is going to do nothing for you at the end of the day. And I think online coaching is going to be king for years to come until we figure out, the science of taking a pill and just burning fat. But until that day comes, I think online coaching is king. That's why I run the Alpha Movement Academy. That's why I love helping my clients. And that's the way I go about it, to make the biggest amount of impact that I possibly can. Because that's another thing. Online coaching, you can reach people from all corners of the world. In-person coaching, in-person training, you can only reach people who are localized, which is just not even close to as cool. So that's the fucking difference, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast. Hopefully you got some value out of this episode. If you did get value, make sure you screenshot my face, share it to your Instagram stories, tag me at _Garrett Wolf, and I will reshare it to my story and send you a free gift. Other than that, guys, it has been your boy Garrett Wolf, and I will see you all in the next podcast episode. Peace.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hopefully you got some value. If you did get value and you want to learn a little bit more about how you can go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs, just head over to my Instagram @_Garrett Wolf, DM me the word six-pack, and I'll reach out to you and see if I can help. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I will see you all in the next podcast episode. Peace, peace.